see on that screen up there. Are there any questions before we begin? Any at all? Now, no matter how fast you raise your hand, if your response is not in the form of a question, it won't count. Okay? Any questions? Nobody raised their hand. This is funny. All right. Ray, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, you're Ray good? Go ahead, Ray.
Do you know who I am?
Play by the rules.
I got one. Who is Ray Stelly?
I am a competitive, adaptive athlete and an inspiring motivational speaker. How does that sound?
Awesome.
Very good, Ray. Very good. So, what just happened? Who can tell me? Anybody? In the orange, way over there. Get her, Chuck.
Did he answer a question with a question?
Yes. Yes. So what did you think about that transaction? Was there anything about that that was threatening? Was it difficult to carry out? So what parts of that little diagram just took place?
Cards.
This is how to raise your hand. Are you the leader? Leaders, play the game right, okay? You're going to be the ambassador for your table. If your table has the answer, your responsibility is to deliver it forward. Go ahead. Very good. So did all four of those positions on the diagram, were they all represented properly? So the answer is yes, right? And this is not some weird twisted game of Jeopardy, but one of the most effective forms of communication is the art of the question. And it's not just one of it, it's probably the most effective, right? So throughout this, when you find yourself in a conversation, the most effective way to engage and keep the other person engaged is to remain with questions only and not statements. So who was it that said, who is Ray Stelly? All right? Does anybody have a response to Ray's answer? Did y'all hear what he said? He posed a question at the end of his answer.
We got one over here. That sounds great. How long have you been training for?
There we go.
I've been training as a mobility impaired runner and push rim racer for the last 5 years, competing in numerous events. Any other questions?
So if you'll notice in this, go ahead. You raise your hand. There you go, Ray.
I've competed in local 5Ks such as the Senior Riders Turkey Trot, the Houston Marathon, and even the Rock and Roll Marathon in San Antonio.
As far as tenacity and challenging, as far as your best that stuck out to you in your background, President.
The most
Question was, what event was most
Challenging for you mentally and physically.
The most challenging event that I've ever taken place in was the San Antonio Rock and Roll Marathon. Naturally, being from Southeast Texas, I don't train for hills too much. That posed more of a challenge. I was going down some of those hills at 19.8 to 19.9 or 19.9 miles an hour. Sounds like fun, right?
Yeah, when you roll Ray down the hill, he balls up and he gets really fast. What was your last question, Ray?
Oh. Well,
Does anybody else think that sounds like fun? Not the part I described, the way he does it. I'm really surprised that no one's asked a glaring question. He said something. So what is the most important part of those four elements, the four corners of effective communication? Can anybody tell me? There are four up there, and one of them is actually more valuable than the rest. Anybody got a hand? They want to... Ah, there we go. Yes. Yes. Why is feedback most important?
You can learn from your customers or your members or coworkers. You can find out what's good, what's bad, what's working, what's not working, and what people really want.
Feedback is the evidence that you're listening. Right? Very good. Thank you. All right. Anybody else got a question for Ray? I do. Ray, what topics do you like to discuss when you deliver a motivational speech?
my favorite topics are self-reflection, planning your goals, and actually how to achieve them. My approach is to evaluate where I am at the moment, what my strengths and weaknesses are versus the goal that I want to pursue. Great question. Anybody else?
So we have a challenge to the feedback answer. You got something over there? Yeah, we have a challenge to the answer of feedback.
Oh, I like that.
Just was gonna ask, how do you how do you receive feedback if you haven't become the receiver and opened your mind and listened? How do you get feedback without receiving it first? Seems like that would be the most important to me. That means I've listened. Now I know how to give feedback. Just how.
I love that, and I hope he got a prize. But if you don't mind, do you mind if I give you some input on that?
Yes, sir.
So how many of you in this room can exist, notice I said can, exist without taking in input? Can you exist without taking in input? Everywhere you go, everything you do, what are you receiving? Messages. You can't help it. Now, you see how feedback is number one. The messages happen overtly, intentionally, and accidentally, right? What matters most is and will always be feedback. Come on back to that argument. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, we don't. Okay. Now it's your turn. You've waited so patiently.
So how did you get started on this journey?
I got started on this journey back in high school whenever I pursued powerlifting as my chosen sport. Since then, naturally the powerlifting that faded for me until just a few years ago when the memory of my mom led me to pursue running.
Very good, Ray.
I can continue with that if you would like.
I'm getting a lot of nods, yes, Ray.
Okay. Like most athletes who change changed their chosen sport. I didn't know what I didn't know. I started out trying to actually run with the goal of running a marathon. Long story short, I trained too much, ineffectively, and it led me to give up on that dream for a few months. I had always been a wheelchair user part of the time, so I looked at that as an opportunity to get back into the running world. Anything else?
Ray, what is it that sets you apart from other people? What is it that's different about you?
Well, I have cerebral palsy, and the only person that I'm actively competing against is the person that I look at in the mirror. The perception of who I was back on the road. The competitor standing right here, I really don't care if I beat them or if they beat me by 10 miles. It's me versus me. Great question. Anything else?
In this room, I've been doing an endurance event, marathon, 5K. In this room, they had see how it's applicable to his challenges, in tenacity of running, and kind of making it applicable to your lifestyle. Just curious, because it's a pretty tough mental challenge to run consistently. Just curious, how many folks in this room have been doing an endurance event? An endurance event similar to Ray Stelly, see what he goes through. Kind of math skill set.
Anybody in the room gone through an endurance event, 5K or a marathon? Very good. Ray, what are you currently training for, and how does it differ from what you typically compete in?
My current training is for one of my main goals, which was the goal that I set whenever I first got into adaptive running, was to actually run a marathon. I have my entry into the 2026 Houston Marathon already scheduled, with the goal of being a mobility impaired runner for the first time to complete that distance, at least for me. It would also be my sixth marathon. The five previous were in a push-rim wheelchair.
So can you guys imagine that Ray, from his position in life and his experiences and his perspective, can you guys imagine what motivation he could provide speaking to people? And this, friends, is his breakout performance. So has anyone else got any questions for Ray?
Obviously, you have to be very mentally strong and dedicated to do that type of an event. And I'm wondering, what is the driving force that motivates you to do that, and where do you pull your strength from?
Ever since I was a kid, I've always felt like I've had a chip on my shoulder. I had to prove something to myself. I'm blessed that the level and severity of my disability is mild on the spectrum. But I always seem to compare myself to the able-bodied runner. I don't want to just be a great or good adaptive athlete. I want to be a good athlete. That's what drives me, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
So, Ray, do you have maybe fixed phrases, fixed things that you say to yourself on the regular? Because I know you train, we talked about your favorite friends, we talked a lot about your current training, you're out of the chair, now you're on your feet, and you're running. Are there some messages that you send yourself, maybe a host of them, that maybe you can share with some of these guys?
Well, one phrase that I've always heard growing up was, it ain't nothing to it but to do it. That's pretty much the quote that I go by most of the time. Beyond that is simply, I am my own toughest competitor. Other than that, it's simply, I've gone too far to turn back.
Very good, Ray.
First of all, Ray, let me just say that you are an absolute inspiration. Let's say that first. And do you realize how much of an inspiration you are? And will you make the commitment to us today that you won't stop doing what you're doing?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I do hear that from time to time, and honestly, it's lost on me the impact that a lot of people tell me that I have. I'm just going through life doing the best I can, and as far as the commitment to continue to do what I'm doing, 100%, you got it.
How can we help you moving forward to be able to have more speaking engagements?
Oh, excellent.
That's all I do.
Excellent question. The best way would be to reach out to me through my Facebook and Instagram pages, Ray Stelly Speaks. My ideal clients would be church groups, adaptive advocacy groups, youth sports teams, and anybody that needs a pick-me-up.
How many of you got to pick me up here today? If you want to get more of the full story about Ray Stelly and how he came to be here today, he came on our show. He came on our podcast and we interviewed him and we documented his journey through his words. So if you do go there and subscribe to the page, scroll through the content, and you'll find his interview. And it's a good one. I've gone back and watched it several times. Any other questions? Go ahead.
I have a very lighthearted question for you. As somebody who hardly has ever made it through their 5K training program, I know the importance of having good music. So I want to know what your favorite hype song is when you're training.
Oh, great question. My musical taste is pretty much anything from 60 through early 80s. I get classic rock from CCR, Leonard Skinner, you name it. I'm pretty much jamming to it.
It's your job as a DJ too there, Ray. That's awesome.
So just to let you guys know, we invited Ray to be a part of this today, and he was excited, he was anxious. He's probably not going to admit it, but I'm pretty sure he was really nervous. And
Absolutely.
he was so excited that we did a little semi-rehearsal. We talked about doing that before this so that he could practice, the repartee kind of thing. And we told him to be at our office at a particular time, right? Well, our office is at Edison Plaza, big nice lobby. And Chuck and I go downstairs for lunch, well early before Ray's appointment. When we get downstairs, I noticed him. He was sitting on the couch. He was already there. It was like an hour and a half before his meeting. So we waited and we watched, and we waited until he couldn't take it anymore. It was about 15 minutes early, and he walked over to the security desk, and when they called me, I said, Ray, turn around, we're watching you. but he has been an inspiration to us. We're proud to have him with us today. We thank you guys for being a part of the pursuit of our purpose, and we hope to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. Do you guys have any questions for any of us? Now, our presentation time says that we can go to 1:15, but I don't like to belabor things. I think we'll end on a really good note. Ray, is there anything you'd like to ask the audience?
One question. What goal are you not pursuing that you want to?
I'm going to throw a follow-up in there for Ray. Why not? Why not? I mean, Ray's perspective is amazing to me. Did y'all hear what he said earlier? There's people that's got a lot worse than me. I'm paraphrasing. But he called his physical circumstances, what did you say, very mild?
Very mild.
Very mild. How many of y'all look at Ray and that's what you think? Very mild. Right? Do you think that? No. No, we look at Ray and we're like, man, that's tough, right? But really, that's toughness. Good job, Ray.